I have talked with a lot of potential EB-1A applicants, and I'm not sure what the state of the industry is right now, because a lot of the potential EB-1A applicants have come to me and they say that they meet this, this, and this criteria, usually the bare minimum of 3 criteria. But then they come for an EB-1 evaluation, and it's not clear that they're really an expert on anything in particular. So maybe they've done some peer review for journals after and during their master's program. Maybe they do have a leading or critical role and a high salary, but they're relatively new to the industry, just getting hired into one of the FANG companies. So obviously having a high salary, higher than normal. Um, that profile is not strong enough for an EB-1A. And I definitely understand the drive to look at EB-1A. Most Indian or Chinese nationals who are in that situation and who have that profile should look at EB-1A as an option for the future. But everyone seems to be thinking that they can get the EB-1 right away. And with a profile like that, recent entrant, new FANG employee, maybe one other criteria met, it really is going to be more like a 5-year timeline to build towards an EB-1A, a strong EB-1A profile. Some people might be able to do it in less time, but there's a degree of luck to that in what projects you're working on, how quickly those projects get recognized, how quickly you get recognized. Some of that you can control, but some of that you cannot control. So I'm telling a lot of people that are coming to me right now that realistically they are looking at least a 5-year timeline before they have even a minimally strong EB-1A case. I think some people are surprised to hear that, but keep in mind that the EB-1 really is the top level extraordinary ability visa. And when USCIS says extraordinary ability, they mean extraordinary ability in the entire field, which means you will be compared to the most senior level people in the field. Your accomplishments need to be so impressive that they're on par with the career accomplishments of someone that's been working for 45 years in the field. So keep that in mind. A lot of people want to rush. There's not really any rushing in the US immigration system, but a 5-year timeline is doable. It's within reach. It's much, much better than the 90 plus years that's expected for most Indian national EB-2s, for example. So don't get discouraged when you hear that timeline. Just make a realistic plan and start doing all the necessary steps along the way. To build the profile, gain that recognition, generate that acclaim. And at the end, you will have a good case. And you'll still immigrate much faster than many of your peers from the same country.
So is it possible to have very few of the criteria met, but be 1 to 2 years away from filing than 5 years because you already have a lot of expertise in a certain field?
Definitely, yeah. So on the flip side, I consult with a lot of really senior level people who've been in the field for maybe 20 years or so, and they meet 2 criteria, but they don't meet a 3rd criteria. And in that case, I think it's actually really easy to build a profile within a year or 2 because you just need to get 1. I usually recommend targeting at least 2 other criteria, but you really only need to win 1. And then finalize some other things in your profile to make sure that you are recognized for your career accomplishments. And sometimes I even work with people in this situation, and 6 months later they're ready to file. But that requires that solid background, the record of career accomplishments, and usually a lot of experience already. So that's in direct contrast to the profile of the newer employee who's going to be qualified in the future but isn't yet, because they don't have anything solid to base the EB-1A off of. And so profile building has to include those elements, as well as targeting specific criteria and like meeting certain checkboxes and all of that.